And the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam has said, وَلْيَلْتَمِسُ طَرِيقًا وَلْيَلْتَمِسُ عِلْمًا سَحَّلَ اللَّهُ طَرِيقًا إِلَى الْجَنَّةِ. A person who seeks a path to seeking knowledge, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will ease the path towards Jannah. And the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam has also said, فَضْلُ الْعَالِمِ عَلَى الْعَابِدِ كَفَضْلِ عَلَى أَدْنَاكُمْ. The benefit or the virtue of a person of knowing or a scholar over a person who is merely a worshipper is my fadl or my virtue over the least of amongst you. This was not from the fakhr or this was not a boast from the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, but it was actually mentioning the reality that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made darajat and has made darakat, has made levels of fadl, of virtue, and also levels of, you could say, of vice, of despicable qualities. And the pure person that seeks Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's deen for his pleasure alone and nobody else's, the person rises in the ranks to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And from that the Prophet ﷺ said also, بَلِّغُ عَنِّي وَلَوْ آيَةً, that report from me even if it may be a verse. And it could also mean verse, ayah, the word ayah, it could also just as mean portent or sign. So anything from the Prophet ﷺ, a person internalizes it and thereafter propagates it to another, there is great virtue in this. And Imam al-Haddad in his book Ad-Da'wa At-Ta'amma, a book in which he talks about the complete call, he says that a person who seeks knowledge and thereafter doesn't practice it is better than a person who doesn't seek knowledge and neither practices it. As a person who seeks knowledge and thereafter practices upon it, that person gets two-part virtue. So that is, seeking knowledge in itself is also a virtue. However, that the fadl of knowledge or the barakah of knowledge comes into a person's life after a person tries to internalize and practice upon it. And they say the zakat or ilm, the zakat or the pure due, you could say, of knowledge is amal wa tabligh, is practicing and thereafter propagating it to others. The Prophet ﷺ said, نَدَّرَ اللَّهُ إِمْرَأً سَمِعَ مِنِّي فَأَوْعَى وَبَلَّغَهُ إِلَى مَنْ هُوَ أَوْعَى مِنْهُ. The Prophet ﷺ said, blessed be the person who hears what I have said, comprehends it, and thereafter reports it to somebody else. And the person who reports it to is actually أَوْعَى مِنْهُ, meaning is more intelligent of the meaning of the report than the person who reported it to him. And this occurs. That's why they say that fuqaha are like the atibba, the fuqaha are like the doctors, and the physicians, and the muhaddithun are like the saydiliyah, or like the chemists that preserve the hadith. But who prescribes what the actual portent and the meaning of the actual hadith is? It's the fuqaha, the people who have the innermost understanding of the hadith. That's why the Prophet ﷺ said in a hadith narrated by Sayyidina Muawiyah radiallahu anhu, when he said, مَنْ يُرِدُ اللَّهُ بِهِ خَيْرًا يُفَقِّهُ فِي الدِّينِ. Whoever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala requires or desires goodness for a person, He gives him fiqh, understanding of the deen. Not fiqh in the limited sense of jurisprudence, but in the understanding of the deen. And it's apt that Sayyidina Muawiyah narrates this particular hadith, being from the fifth of the khalifa, of the caliphs, and he was from the Duha al-Arab, which basically means from the geniuses of the Arabs. He was one, and another one was Amr ibn As, from two companions, and there's two others that are non-Muslim. And this phrase basically means somebody who was extremely clever at politics or siyasa. When we say politics, it has a very negative connotation, but siyasa in Arabic, it has quite an elevated connotation. When you say siyasa, it's from asas. Sasa yasisu, the person who tries to rub something with gentleness. And that's why it's called siyasa, because you don't force people to do certain things, rather you take them with gentleness. And this was something we said that Muawiyah was a master and imam of. That's why during his khilafah, Islam continued spreading. After the khilafah of Sayyidina Umar, Sayyidina Uthman, the expansion of the Islamic empire, you could say, stopped slightly during the khilafah of Sayyidina Ali, and re-continued during the khilafah of Sayyidina Muawiyah radiallahu ta'ala anhu. So a person who has the understanding of the deen, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants good for that person. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blesses the gatherings where we gather for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alone. It is said in a narration in which the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam has said, he said, بيوت الذين يذكرون فيها اسم الله يكون كنجوم في سمائنا كما قال عليه الصلاة والسلام. He said that the houses in which the remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala takes place, they are like the stars of our sky. That is, the way we look towards the sky, we can see these stars. The same way the people of paradise will see the people who remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in their homes, also to be from like similar to those. And the remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala isn't just the dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as you mentioned last week. It also includes the gatherings, or the halakat al-dhikr, or the gatherings, the hilaq, or the circles of remembering Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.